Wednesday night. Tonight I want to continue the story about Jacob.
Yes, Dad. I want to know the continuation of the story.
Yeah, Dad, I wanted to hear.
Come on everyone, sit down.
The last story, Jacob ran away from Esau and went to Laban, Rebekah's brother. When Jacob departed from Beersheba, arrived at a certain place, and spent the night, he took a stone, used it as a pillow for his head, and lay down. Then he had a dream, and there was a ladder, whose top reached to heaven, and the angels of God were ascending and descending on it. The Lord stood beside him and said, I am the Lord, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac. I give this land on which you lie to you and to your descendants. Indeed, I am with you and I will protect you, wherever you go, and I will bring you back to this land. Then Jacob awoke and said,
Behold, the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it. How awesome is this place! This is none other than the house of God, the gate of heaven.
The next day Jacob took a stone to put on his head, built it into a pillar, and poured oil on it. Then he made a vow.
If God will accompany and protect me on this path that I am on, giving me bread to eat and clothes to wear, so that I can safely return to my father's house, then the Lord will be my God.
Jacob arrived in the land of the eastern people. Jacob met Rachel near the well, the daughter of his mother Rebekah's nephew, and was taken to the house of Rachel's father, Laban. Then Jacob met Laban and worked in Laban's house. Jacob loved Rachel so much that he was willing to work for Laban for 7 years. However, after 7 years, Laban gave his first child, Leah, to Jacob, not Rachel, so Jacob was deceived. So he is willing to work another 7 years to get Rachel. When God saw that Leah was not loved, Leah's womb was opened, but Rachel was barren. Then 4 children were born to Leah. When Rachel was barren, her slave girl Bilhah was given to Jacob, and she gave birth to 2 sons. And Leah saw that she had no more children, so she also gave her slave Zilpah to Jacob, and she bore 2 sons. Then Leah gave birth to 2 sons and another daughter to Jacob. Then God remembered Rachel's prayer, and Rachel bore Jacob a son. After Rachel gave birth to Joseph, Jacob wanted to go back to his country and said to Laban,
Give me my wife and my children, who are my wages while I work for you, so that I can go home, because you know how hard I worked for you.
Determine your wages that I must pay.
You don't have to give anything, as long as you allow me to pass today from among all your black sheep and striped and spotted sheep. I will take all the animals as my reward.
Okay. Be like your word.
But Jacob took green branches from the blight, almond and chestnut trees, and peeled the branches so that they were streaked until the white could be seen. He put the branch into the manger, where the sheep drank, so that the lambs that gave birth saw the branch, and the children were streaked, spotted and striped. Thus he got his own collection of animals. Thus Jacob deceived Laban. Then the Lord said to Jacob, Return to the land of your ancestors, I will be with you. Then Jacob and his children and wife returned to their country. On his way home, Jacob sent his messengers to find his brother Esau in the land of Seir in the region of Edom. When the messengers returned, they said that Esau was going to meet Jacob with 400 people, so Jacob was afraid.
O God of my father Abraham, and God of my father Isaac, you said, Go home to your country and I will do good to you. Release me from the hands of my brother Esau, for I am afraid of him, lest he come to kill me, the mother and her children.
Jacob said in his heart, I will reconcile Esau's heart with an offering. So he sent his slaves ahead and brought offerings to Esau, but Jacob spent the night in his camp. That night Jacob met a man and fought until dawn. When the man saw that he could not defeat him, he hit him in the groin muscle joint. Then Jacob raised his eyes and saw Esau accompanied by 400 people. So he walked in front of his wife's children and his slave, and he bowed down to the ground 7 times until he reached his brother. But Esau ran to meet him. He embraced him, fell on his neck, and kissed him, and they wept. Then his wife, children, and slaves came closer and bowed down to Esau. Then Esau said, What do you mean by the offering you brought? I have lots. Jacob said that to get my master's love. Esau refused, but Jacob forced Esau to accept it. Then Esau returned to Seir, and Jacob came to Shechem in the land of Canaan. Then he bought land there and built an altar and called it, "The God of Israel is God." God said to Jacob, "Get ready, go to Bethel, stay there and make an altar to God, who appeared to you when you fled from Esau your brother." Then Jacob said to his household,
"Put away the strange gods that are among you, cleanse yourselves and change your clothes. Let us prepare for Bethel. I will make an altar to God who has answered me in my time of trouble, and who has accompanied me on the path I have taken."
Then Jacob came to Bethel, built an altar there, and named it El Bethel, because God had revealed himself to him there when he ran away from his brother. And God said to him, "Your name will be Jacob. From now on your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel, that will be your name." So God named him Israel. I am God Almighty. Be fruitful and multiply, nations will arise from you and kings will come from you. This land which I gave to Abraham and to Isaac, I will give to you and to your descendants. Then God went up and left Jacob where he had spoken. When Rachel gave birth to Jacob's 12th child, the birth was very difficult, so that when her child was born, Rachel named Benoni, and Rachel breathed her last breath. But Jacob named him Benjamin. Then Jacob came to his father Isaac in Mamre, and Isaac was 180 years old. Then Isaac died, and his sons Esau and Jacob buried him. So Esau and Jacob walked together in peace. That's the story of Jacob, how he tricked himself into fighting with his brother Esau and leaving his family. And when he left, he met God, and God promised to bring him back. On his journey he was tricked by Laban, and he tricked Laban back by taking his livestock. But God was still good in making Jacob turn to him by striking his strength and making him helpless when he faced Esau, so that Jacob remembered God and returned to him. This is where God also softened Esau's heart to make peace with Jacob and bury his father Isaac together.
Okay, that's enough for tonight. Tomorrow you'll have to go to school.
Thanks for this story, Dad. I'm blessed. Good night, Mom, Dad.
Good night, Mom, Dad.
Good night, kiddos.
Good night, kids. Sweet dreams.